Welcome to Practice Success Beyond the Dental Chair, the podcast that is dedicated to revolutionising the way dental professionals succeed beyond the dental chair. Join us for a unique blend of insightful interviews with industry experts and valuable tidbits of information to help you thrive in your dental specialist practice. In each 20-minute episode, we'll delve into a variety of topics, including HR, marketing, innovative techniques and systems, and AI to help you transform your practice and unlock its full potential. Whether you're a dentist or a specialist looking to enhance your practice, this podcast is your go-to resource for professional, personal, and profitable success. Hello and welcome everyone. I'm excited to introduce our guest today, Dr Nimesh Patel, an accomplished Sydney dental practice owner who says there's nothing else he'd rather be doing than helping his patients achieve their dental health goals. However, Dr Patel recognised that fostering a sense of responsibility among team members and streamlining communication would lead to a more organised and efficient practice. He noticed that many dental clinics face similar challenges, such as missed appointments, communication gaps, and an uncoordinated task management. This led to the creation of the Daily Huddle. Nimesh, can you share your story about what happened in your practice that led you to come up with the Daily Huddle and what it's done for you, your practice, your team, and your patients?
Hi, Michelle. Thank you so much for the introduction. I'm Dr. Patel. I started my private practice in Sydney in year 2011. Before that, I was an associate for about 6 to 7 years. So I started my practice in Sydney as a private dentist in 2004. I was very fortunate from the very beginning to have a great mentors in my network. I was trained under Dr. Sakis Nalbandian, and of course, he helped me throughout my career. We established the practice and I called it Timeless Smiles Dental, being very unique name in Sydney and of course in Australia as well. So I started with a very small team, myself and two of my team members, like every other practice owner starts. And I started from scratch, where this was the time where the Medicare scheme was just ending. So the dentistry was at its very peak. So the practices were valued really, really high at that time. So in Sydney, I think buying a practice was close to about 2 million. And at that time, I had a choice whether to purchase a practice at that high value or pretty much start my own. So I think I did the later, even though most advise not to. But I did start my own practice from scratch. And with no patient, we started in a small team environment where the front desk, dental assistant, and me as a dentist full time. We were open just like any other practice owner when we start Monday to Saturday. And I was doing some Sunday emergencies as well. So in such a small team, and of course, after 12 years of practice now, we got 5,000 patients, 4 dentists, about 9 team members, 1 hygienist, 2 associates, and myself working 4 days a week. So I think that journey from being a single practice owner to pretty much number of practice associates and the hygiene team, of course, came with lots of learning. And that learning was amazing because as a dentist, we normally starts with university education and we started as dental practitioner, right? So we pretty much more of a artist, engineer, operator, but we were never trained to be a business owner, right? So I think one of the most challenging thing for any practice owner when they start the practice is how to manage their business operations. And it was no different for me. But I think from learning lessons from the couple of colleagues and the mentors, I think I jumped into practice coaching in a very initial phase. And I started prime practice pretty much about 3 months after I started my practice ownership. And that was the best thing I have ever done. And I took my whole team with me and we used to go in all the seminars and learn about the team environment, how to manage the business operations, how to set the systems and foundation from the very beginning, from the practice ownership, and of course, learned a lot about marketing, learned a lot about how to set up the systems in the practices, having a standard operating procedures, and all those foundation things that we need in a practice ownership from the very beginning, and that helped me throughout. And of course, we had to just build on what we were learning. And one of the very key factor we were learning is, of course, dental practices are run by the team and not the dentist, because we are at the back seat in a car and our main drivers are our team members. So it is very vital to keep the team engaged, organized, systemized, and we give every tool that we have available to team members so their life is easy, and hence our life becomes easy, because I think we need to mainly focus on dentistry, and they will be focusing on business operations. So I think uh, in a very beginning of the practice ownership, one of the main challenge that was coming is the task management. That in a Sydney environment, when in the metro Sydney, there was always part timers and casual team members, and when you have those part timers and casual team members, it's very tricky to sync them. And I'm talking about 2011, where pretty much, of course, the only digital thing we have was the software, a dental software or the patient booking software. There was no other apps, there was no other platforms. We were still very new into the social media integration and all that. But of course, we were quite upfront with the technology at that time. Of course, we did the video recording of the practice and all that. So I think we were hungry and we were very open to whatever is available on the market. We wanted to try everything. Being a new practice, and we tried everything under marketing. And I think marketing is fun, and I still enjoy the marketing, because I think when you come across different methods, you come across different avenues, and I think you learn a lot from different industries. And of course, as you learn clinical side from dentistry, I would encourage everyone to actually learn from other industries, how they do manage their teams and how they do the business marketing and how do they run their operations, because there is a much more to learn from those people, because they have a bigger teams, bigger organization, bigger platforms, and that encourages us to implement some of those things into our clinics, and that is always helpful. So I think one of the key factor that I could notice is probably the accountability when it comes to the task management, that I'm present today, I'm not present today. So hence I did something, I forgot something, I wasn't available, so I couldn't take that task. I couldn't complete that task because someone else was available. In a team environment, when there's number of team members, these challenges come, and that summarizes, or that actually quantifies in a trouble or challenges in a dental practice where something gets missed, something doesn't get done, and the ultimate outcome is a pretty much reduction in your flow. And the workflow gets compromised, and hence patient care will be compromised ultimately. So I think we started doing, of course, we learned the concept of daily huddle into prime practice, and the prime practice introduced the daily huddle. There was a system to follow, what we have been doing yesterday, what we're focusing on today, what we'll be doing tomorrow. There was a typical format we were given, and we started writing those things on a office workbook pretty much. So our daily huddle used to look like, of course, we started from scratch, so we had all the time in the world to start our day. So we used to do 15-20 minutes huddle and trying to catch up with everything. And I said, what marketing things we're gonna do, what we're gonna do in our bonus time, and what we're gonna actually try new things, how to attract the new patients, how can we actually keep the new patients that we get, every strategy what we could discuss, right? And that will take a time. And then as we got busy, we became 2 team members, 3 team members, and probably as the year passed, the daily huddle started from being a 1 page to page and a half, and it started increasing, and it became more comprehensive. And then we started thinking, of course, every day we have to write a lot of things, because that's what used to happen in those days. But the writing was getting us things done, so we used to love it. So I think the one thing pretty much I share with my colleagues all the time, that if there is a one thing that has been a consistent over the period of 12 years of my practice ownership, is my day would never start without having a daily huddle, because that daily huddle is actually streamlining my full day. It's making my team's life easy so they can focus on their work, I can focus on my work. All the task has been mentioned properly and that we are ticking the boxes. And don't we love when we tick the box and things gets done, because we all have a to-do list that's keep piling up. So I think we wanted to reduce those things and we wanted to keep implementing those things. And by the time it was 2016 or 18, I already did 2 or 3 different coachings by that time. I was updated and my team was updated, and we started learning new strategies, and those systems became strategies, and those strategies became pretty much standard operating procedures. And then we introduced one solid version of Daily Huddle in 2018. And by the time I had a book almost ready, some of my team members helped me to actually get my whole book ready for my own practice. We were all doing all this for my own practice so that we have a great system in place. And then COVID started in 2020, and then we had plenty of time available, and we started thinking that what we designed for our own practice, my team says, why don't we share with a wider community, because it's a great product. And that's how the Huddle book started. So straight after COVID, as soon as all the dentists were available, and I think we were allowed to have a gathering in Sydney, it was one of the first dentist gathering with 100 dentists invited in a function center, and I published Daily Huddle book. It was one of its kind. Nobody ever did that in dentistry. The huddle's been around for hundreds of years in sports. So for the last 200 years, of course, it was initially introduced in soccer or some football game where probably the team used to do the huddle. And of course, every sports game, they do the huddle all the time. And they are still doing it. So of course, huddle has got a great potential in every other avenues, not just the dental practice or any other business, because the goal is trying to be connected, trying to be communication between the team members, and that's exactly what the goal was. And I think we achieved it really well with the book format. But then COVID started and everyone started steering away from physical book or the paper format and things like that. Digital media's softwares were coming in, different apps were getting introduced, and I was attending all the ADX and exhibition, and people started saying, Dr. Patel, why don't you introduce something like an app, because this is a great concept. And then me and my tech team started working on it, and it took us about a year. And 2021 we introduced the Daily Huddle in a software version. 2022 we had the solid version ready. We were introducing a beta platform. We got a couple of dentists to use it, and we got feedback. We started revising it, and that's how the Daily Huddle software came in place, where we have a fully fledged desktop software with the application that can be downloaded on iOS, on Android, and all the functionality that is available on desktop and the software. So that's how the Daily Huddle came in. Over to you, Michelle.
Oh my goodness. No, I think it's absolutely excellent. And it's so admirable that you recognized that you were a dentist, you graduated as dentist and really didn't know about how to run a practice. So you obviously engaged the services of a specialist to help you do that. I personally advocate the huddle 100%. And I just love it how it just grew and grew about all the tasks and things that you do, and which is fantastic, because obviously things need to get done and that you recognize that, okay, we need to sort of make that huddle more succinct in the morning, because yes, what went well, what do we need to improve, and, the patients for the day. Then you've obviously got this digital platform, which is great. So how do you integrate with the admin team and the clinical team and the tasks that get done? Is that still the huddle in the morning, or how do you actually get it all together with what's happening? Or is there some sort of strategic meeting that you have and then you discuss it as a team and then the tasks get put in there? Can you explain that a little bit more, Nimesh?
That's a great question, Michelle. I think I get this question all the time, that because different dental practices, and dental practice is very unique for each dentist, their platform is very different, and every dental practice has got a different routines. They got a number of associates, the number of team members are different. Daily Huddle, the reason I kept it Daily Huddle as a name, because earlier it used to be called, not in my product, but we used to call it a morning huddle. Okay, not every person is a morning person. Everyone's circadian rhythms are different. I got that very early when I started using this product and everyone started talking about it. There was a little bit of setback from the dentist, thinking that I start late, some of my team members come late. So I understood all of it, and that's why I named it as a daily huddle. So it doesn't have to be first thing in the morning, but if you could do it, it's awesome. It's the best time to do it. I'm a morning person, so when I start my day, I want to make sure that most of my challenges are ticked off in 5 minutes first thing in the morning. So the huddle or the daily huddle needs to be very strategic. The reason I'm using the word strategic, the system that is for everyone. A strategy, it's a very unique way of doing things. So what I have made sure in my product is there are certain tasks that needs to be discussed in that first 5 minutes in the morning. That's what we're talking about. We're not talking about too much in details, because your team members wants to get started. You want to get started. You want to get doing a production. We are understanding that, and we make sure that that's what you want to focus on. So the way it works is, of course, each individual team member can put in the task that they need to do, or the front desk can enter the task. So in the desktop format, you got 4 sections: front desk, dental assistant, clinicians, and the other huddle items on the dashboard. And then on the left and right hand side of the platform, you got different items. You got team meetings, you got the key contact area, you got the marketing, you got the social media, you got all the other items on the left hand side. And on the right hand side, you got the lab work module. What are the specific goals you want to achieve? The metrics about your practice, how many new patients you are getting, how many cancellations are happening in the practice, how many conversion, which is my favorite topic, conversion, call conversion that is happening in your practice. What are the other things you want to focus on? So when we have a dashboard for each individual team members, they can enter into those items. If my clinician starts at 10 o'clock in the morning or 1 o'clock in the afternoon, doesn't matter. They got their task already listed there. They can tick off the task. If any team member starts late, they can already see what they have to do. You can even assign a specific task to a specific employee or a team member. So they can actually look at,
Yeah, I think that's excellent. And when you talked about having things like tracking with treatment conversions, because that is so important, the amount of new patients, those other things exterior to that is fantastic. And I just love it enhances the patient experience. It also helps with teamwork, so everybody knows what they're doing as well. And I think that that's wonderful how you've actually come up with this through standard operating procedures and things and systems that you've learned from your mentors, as you said, to create something truly special. Have you got anything else that you'd like to add, Nimesh?
I think I would encourage every dental practice owners to do some level of practice coaching, because it's really, really essential to learn about how to run the business operations. Because there's nothing worse than knowing dentistry really well, but not knowing how to run the dental business.
Absolutely.
Because it is quite critical to learn those systems and processes and strategies. So that enhances our business operations really well. It helps our team, it helps us, and our production is good, and we can enjoy the life, make it less stress-free.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So in conclusion, the Daily Huddle is more than a software. It's a result of Dr. Patel's passion for improving dental practice management and enhancing teamwork. By focusing on accountability and ownership, the software empowers dental teams to work together harmoniously, streamlining operations and ultimately providing better patient care. For more information about Dr. Nimesh Patel and the Huddle book, including links to their social media platforms, profiles, check out the episode description. You might want to find out what other people have said as well, which I think would be great, but we've run out of time, Nimesh. So thank you so much for coming on today. We really appreciate that you've shared your story and your experience and what you've created.
Thank you for having me, Michelle. It was great to catch up with you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
In our next episode of Practice Success Beyond the Dental Chair, we're joined by Dr. Anne McCarr to discuss her journey from burnout to rediscovery through positive psychology. Discover how knowledge and strategies can help you avoid a similar outcome. Join us every second Saturday for insights into creating healthy workplaces and more on practice success beyond the dental chair.